FTX 혈우반.
The biggest question on the minds of more than 1 million customers and investors who lost billions on FTX. Will they ever get any of their money back? And how much of it?
On FTX, I had almost 60% of my portfolio of crypto portfolio. Based on all the other bankruptcies and everything that happened in the crypto market, I was really worried about getting anything back and then how long I would have to wait. I started looking at other ones like Mt. Gox, and they took almost like 8 to 10 years before the people even got a portion of it back.
So Bogumshi Kanagunla goes online to see if he has any options to recover at least some of his money more quickly.
I started looking into how can I get something for these, for these bankruptcy claims.
He found a company that would help him sell his bankruptcy claim for a small percentage of its value for cash. Here's how it worked.
The bankruptcy claim was for $174,000. The buyer was, after all the due diligence and everything, it went down to like 11% of the $174,000, and I think that came out to almost around $19,000 or so. So I got a certain percentage back. I guess the best way to say it is it's 11 cents for the dollar.
Years later, if the bankruptcy process recovers more than 11 cents on the dollar for that claim, then the buyer of Kanagunla's claim pockets the difference and turns a profit.
Let's say in the $174,000 that I lost in FTX gets recovered in 10 years, right? I will have zero regrets.
Zero regrets because Kanagunla has a different strategy.
I wanted to get the cash from the bankruptcy claim primarily to invest in crypto again. I felt like as if there was a good chance for me to make money in the next 5 to 10 years. So mine is always a long-term perspective.
For other FTX customers, it's a waiting game. And as time goes on, the highly specialized investigators working around the clock on the FTX bankruptcy are billing by the hour.
What's interesting about this bankruptcy is you do have an incredible window in vivid detail as to every penny that every consultant is earning. From the $1,300 an hour that John Ray is charging to the average $1,800 an hour that Sullivan & Cromwell is charging.
7 months into the FTX bankruptcy case, the retained professionals already have requested more than $200 million in fees, according to a court-appointed fee examiner's report. That's nearly $1.5 million a day. The report says the fees are remarkable, but so is the professionals' performance. The firms named in the examiner's report declined our request for comment.
What's really concerning is that all the lawyers have to be paid in the bankruptcy before we get paid out.
Because the number of professionals involved and the hours they work changes over time, it's impossible to calculate how much the bankruptcy fees will ultimately cost FTX customers.
The real winners in all of this will be the attorneys who worked on the bankruptcy. They're not just the real winners, they're going to be the only winners.
So far, none of the customers we spoke to have received any of their money back from FTX. And you may be surprised to hear that this whole experience has not shaken their faith in crypto.
I think cryptocurrencies generally it should be here to stay. I think that, and it hasn't shaken my faith in the underlying asset itself.
I do want everybody to understand that the mistake here was not Bitcoin, the mistake here was not crypto. The mistake was one bad actor, SBF, who's really the one who's to blame for all of this. And the fundamental reason why we buy Bitcoin, why we use Bitcoin has not changed.
I would encourage people to still invest in crypto. Would I encourage them the way I had before? No. I probably would give them some different advice at this point and say, hey, here's what I learned. Don't make the same mistakes I did.
Sam Bankman-Fried has been willing to admit he's made some mistakes as well.
I made a lot of mistakes or things I would give anything to be able to do over again. I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone.
Though Bankman-Fried's version of the story is difficult for FTX customers to believe.
Were you truthful with us today?
I was as truthful as I'm knowledgeable to be. There's some things I wish I knew more about. but yes, I was.
Truthful or not, the question of whether Bankman-Fried broke the law is now up to the courts to decide. Bankman-Fried's pled not guilty to all charges.
I don't see how all of the evidence that's now been sort of laid out there in the open against him could be construed any other way than him having committed financial crimes.
We asked those impacted the most by the collapse of FTX if they have a message for Bankman-Fried.
I don't have anything to say to Sam. Not at all.
I'm disappointed in the betrayal of trust. I'm disappointed in the lack of understanding for the need for integrity.
I don't know if it would get through to him, but I believe the worst thing he has done is the suffering he has caused to millions of victims worldwide.
I would tell Sam, I mean, it's great that at least you're saying in the media that you want to make sure all the customers are right. I guess do the right thing then. I mean, serve your time, pay your penalties, and do the best you can for your users.
My biggest advice to him is figure out what you can do to help all those people who lost their life savings in FTX. I don't know how you're gonna do it or what you're gonna do. Get it done.
If I had a chance to confront Sam face to face, I would just honestly be curious to know like what he was actually trying to do. Like, were you trying to do good, or were you just a really bad person and promoted yourself really well in order to swindle a bunch of people? Like, just give me an honest answer.